One of the most tragic, funny, sad, interesting, when keeping it real goes wrong situations I've ever heard of is that of Morant.
But I take, full responsibility, for my actions. Made a, bad mistake, and I can see the image, that I painted, over myself, with
Ruslan.
One of the most tragic, funny, sad, interesting, when keeping it real goes wrong situations I've ever heard of is that of Morant. One of the best paid players in the NBA seemingly comes from a great family, yet for whatever reason is deciding to potentially throw it all away. And if you guys haven't been keeping up with the situation, there's been multiple run-ins with the law and scuffles, and he's on a current suspension for a couple games, and he's working on counseling, and I really hope he gets the help he deserves. But this situation is really sad because this is a young man who's extremely skilled at his craft, extremely skilled at his ability to rally his team and get them winning and all of these amazing things. And he's seemingly throwing it all away. And he doesn't seem like he comes from a rough environment. It seems like his mom and his dad in his life, and they loved him and they cared for him, created opportunities for him to get to the level where he's at. And now he seems to be throwing it all away. And I really hope he doesn't. I really hope this is a wake-up call. And so if you guys haven't been keeping up, he's had a couple run-ins, situation at a mall where a family member called him and he pulled up on somebody there with a bunch of goons. He had another situation where he was playing basketball at his house with a 17-year-old. Allegedly, the 17-year-old threw the ball at him. He allegedly punched him, knocked him down, and then pulled up his waist, showed a firearm after he went in the house and got one. He said he was threatened, no charges were filed, but there was a lawsuit by the family. And lately, he got done with a game, flew in somewhere, and went straight to a club, a gentleman's club, if you know what I'm talking about, and flashed his firearm on Instagram Live. And this is the thing that got him sat down from the NBA. And so he sat down and did an interview with Jalen Rose, and he's saying that it wasn't him. All right? He's saying it wasn't him. And so let's check this out.
You at the spot, Shotgun Willie's. I've been there. You are holding a gun. And we both know how dangerous that can be. Whose gun were
Not only is he holding it, I mean, he's pointing it into his phone.
Were you holding?
well, the gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone and.
So he said it's the firearm wasn't his. Okay, doesn't say whose it was, but he says it wasn't his.
Any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions. Made a bad mistake, and I can see the image that I painted over myself with my recent mistakes. But in the future, I'm gonna show everybody who John really is, what I'm about, and change this narrative.
I really hope so. I really hope so. I really hope he does change the narrative because, I mean, he has everything going for him.
Hey, you want to see something crazy? 67% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. Do me a quick favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on all the videos here on the Blessed God Studios channel.
Right? He has everything going for him. The rest of the article says Morant added he realized he needed help when he made the video. Okay, so we realized he needed help. It's good. And his daughter inspired him to open up about his issues with professionals. The All-Star also discussed his meeting with Adam Silver, that's the president of the NBA, and said it was a productive conversation as the Kamish voice support for him. As the Kamish voice supported for him. What? Morant says he still takes pride in being a role model. Does he now? Morant says he still takes pride in being a role model. I realize I have a lot of kids who look up to me, even probably some adults, a lot of fans. I realize my past mistakes isn't being a good role model, so I just got to be better in that area and be more responsible, be smarter, and make better decisions. Man, I really hope this dude finds Jesus. I really hope he changes some of these actions because it seems like he is just on a downward trajectory, and he's seemingly getting counseling, seemingly getting helpful. But it does remind me of that Dave Chappelle skit from back in the day when keeping it real goes wrong, and when people try to overcompensate, when people come from relatively good environments Oh, the commissioner. Thank you so much, Brandon. People come from good environments. People come from positive upbringings, yet they are so into the sinister, the dark, the negative, and so they're trying to overcompensate. This is a lot of kids I went to high school with. I grew up in Southeast San Diego, which was a fairly rough area. I know San Diego is like, San Diego in the 90s is a little different. And then I moved. I had gotten arrested. I got into a bunch of trouble as a kid, just a complete derelict. And thankfully, I had a great mother that saw all this coming for me. She moved us into the suburbs. We moved out and moved to the suburbs. And that was the best thing for me because it allowed me an outlet, allowed me school, allowed me basketball. My GPA went from being like a 1.0 to a 3.7 in 1 year. I was a 1.0 GPA, 7th grade. I don't know how they let me into 8th grade. And in 8th grade, I thought I was gonna have to repeat the 7th grade, but they let me in. And just a change of environment, I had a 3.8, finished 8th grade year, 3.8, best grades I ever got in my life. I then went to Vista High School, and I noticed that I grew up with real gang members who poverty, no role models, no fathers, nothing like that. And not to say that any of it is justified, because it's not. But I understood it, and they seem to have a different code than I did. They seem to not want me out. Like real street dudes were like, nah, you can't hang out with us. Like my mom would work nights. They would send me away. They would always like try to look out for me, even though they were in that life. When I moved to North County, I discovered that there were a bunch of guys who had their fathers, who had mothers that were amazing mothers. Some of them were pastors, lawyers, military, right? They were still trying to be a part of that life. They were still trying. The houses were amazing tract homes, 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet. They had the life that I wanted and that I moved here for. They had their dads. They had families. They had big homes. They had access to go play in this basketball league or that basketball league or the travel team or whatever. But for whatever reason, they were so enthralled with the street life. And some of them ended up catching cases. And one of them, one of them is facing parole. Another one is, I don't think he's ever coming home. They caught a body, right? And I never understood folks who have fathers, who have families, who have stable upbringings that get into this life and want to be tough. That's what it seems like Ja is doing. And it's sad because they say men's brains isn't fully developed, or the part of our brain that understands long-term consequences isn't until between 25 and 27. And this is why I'm so glad I got Jesus, because I could see all those things and I had all the excuses. My dad wasn't in my life. I was molested as a kid. My mom worked nights. She was a single mother. I had all the reasons to be an idiot. I had all the reasons. And by the grace of God, I got saved. And I was already out of that life. I had done everything there was to die. I had lost my virginity at like 11. I smoked weed, drank, did all things, partied, all that kind of stuff. So by the time I got into high school, I was like, yo, this is corny. All of this is corny. All of this is mad corny. I'm just going to stay out of the way. I'm going to play sports. I'm going to make good decisions. And then within a year or two of that mentality shift, I ended up getting saved. And then it was, struggle after that, having to deal with all this stuff. But I would hope that the job would find Jesus ultimately, because I don't know if you fix this without going to the core and the heart. I don't know if you fix this allure to want to be a part of this life without going to the core of it in terms of new desires, new heart, new trajectory. So I'm sad for this dude, man. He just keeps making bad decisions. Now maybe it's not all his fault. Maybe he has a target on his back. I don't know, but it's wild. All the back-to-back situations are pretty wild. So.
Hey, this clip is from our daily after party stream. If you enjoyed it, consider signing up for our Patreon community for only $5 a month, where you get access to the replays of our daily after party streams, as well as the uncut extended versions of our podcast, Discord access that's private, and a discount code for our merch store, only $5 a month. And ultimately, it's the best way to help us contextualize the gospel of Jesus using media, podcasting, and of course, YouTube. The link for that is in the description or in the pinned comment. The perks are amazing. You should get on there. It's only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.